Jared. You get to do the opening this time.
No.
He's the yes man.
Welcome to Mountaineer Kingdom Dude Talk. Real men, manly talk.
That was way better than yours.
Yeah, it was.
And mine.
Was forceful, deep voice. That was good.
It's very nostalgic.
I used to do radio.
Nostalgic. We're just jumping right into it. I just Googled 1980s nostalgia.
So more of an 80s kid than a 90s?
I was 81.
I was 83.
Okay.
I remember a lot of the 80s, but definitely more of the 90s than the 80s. But like Fraggle Rock and stuff like that, that's what's in my head of the 80s.
Well, I mean, what year were you born?
85.
Oh, 85.
83.
Yeah, you did.
All right, so 81, 83. For some reason, 85, probably you missed a lot of the 80s because you're only 5 years old in 1990. But, you know, I'm just looking at these pictures here, and I'm looking at Nestle Quick. We're just jumping right into it. Nostalgia. Nestle Quick. You remember the tin cans, Nestle Quick, with the little lid that, like a paint can you had to pop off?
The opening was like a teardrop.
No, it was a circle with a paint lid.
Yeah, it was like
you had
a
to pop
quart
up.
can paint lid.
Oh,
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're not old enough.
I don't remember that.
No, see, I
we
remember
were
that.
poor. We drank mud water.
My
Mud water. So that was your chocolate milk?
Yeah, we drank the top of the mud.
My nanny had that Nesquik. That's why I remember it. We didn't have it, but my nanny did.
My aunt had Ovaltine.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
More
Yeah.
Ovaltine,
A crummy
please.
commercial?
So
That was
when
a great movie.
There's certain every time I hear it, the theme to Back to the Future gets me. It's like we're watching that entire trilogy. That's very nostalgic to
There's
me.
literally a
What's it
poster for Back
rated?
to the Future at the top of these stairs right here.
What's it rated?
PG-13.
I think my kids will like that movie. It's pretty clean, right?
Yeah.
For PG-13?
Oh,
what
yeah.
I remember.
No, I think it's pretty clean.
I mean, compared to
Honestly, anything made in the 80s, guys.
Compared to, well, you know what? The
Anything
Goonies,
made in the 80s.
The Goonies is rated PG.
Well, yeah.
And I looked it up on Plugged In, and I'm like, I can't let my kids watch this.
I didn't like it. I was not a Goonies fan.
But see,
Yeah,
I
like
still
The guy at the end scared me.
My problem was like the first movie I went to
Hey,
theaters
you
and
guys.
watched was Rambo 2.
Rambo?
Yeah.
Rambo. Those are good movies.
So it was Rambo First Blood Part 2 was the first movie I
Back
ever
to
saw
the
in
Future,
theaters.
PG.
And then,
see, I think they'd be fine.
I think the second movie I saw in theaters was the Living Daylights James Bond movie. I was like,
Who was the James Bond in that one?
Timothy
Oh, he was the weird
Timothy Dalton.
I think we should just make this episode of a random conversation. Who's
Apparently.
your favorite James Bond?
one. Sean Connery.
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 Daniel Craig.
I
I
saw.
do like Pierce Brosnan in the first one that he made. In the first one he made.
Goldeneye was fantastic.
Was that the first one?
Yep.
Dude.
Okay.
So
I
speaking
love me
of
some James Bond.
speaking of random conversations, Tina Turner's theme to that was
That was
incredible. I'm a
awesome.
big Tina Turner fan.
I think the only one that was better than that was Skyfall with Adele.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So Connery, because I forget what movie it was,
Money Penny.
but he was. It might be, but he went into this tropical little hotel room, and before
Octopussy.
yes, it was.
Dr. No.
It was one of them.
It was
But when
Dr.
he
No.
left, he took a hair off his head and he put it in front of the closet door.
Yep.
So that it stayed. So when he came back, if he saw that hair had moved or been broken, that somebody had been in there and investigated
Yeah,
his
so
room.
Dr. No was the first Bond
That was a good one.
movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't the first novel. The first novel was Casino Royale. And Dr. No was the first movie that they did. So Sean Connery was trying to be much more espionage, much more like the novels. Mm-hmm. And he was overall, but I think Daniel Craig hit the character to the mark. I've read a lot of the Ian Fleming novels, and I've got probably half of them.
I've always just liked Sean Connery for some reason.
Maybe it was the first.
No, he was great. He's a great actor. Loved his accent. How many movies was he in as
Oh, goodness.
007? A lot of them,
Five or
right?
six, right?
It was like 7, but he did. I wasn't a huge fan of From Russia with Love, which that was JFK's favorite novel. And I did not like.
Jared, you're so full of random information.
I thought we were talking about movies. You were talking about the books. He's so smart.
And then
What are books?
I hated You Only Live Twice, which he came out with that because he was so salty at the way Roger Moore portrayed James Bond that he brought out kind of an unofficial James Bond movie, and it was terrible.
How about the new ones with the new guy? What's his name?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Is that what
He's been saying for 20 minutes.
I didn't hear his name. I didn't hear the name.
I think he's the best.
Really?
by far,
Okay,
yeah.
I would have said he's not bad, but I didn't like those. The movies as a whole were good for me. For the 007, it didn't work for me.
He portrayed exactly what, when you read the original novel,
I did not catch the name for sure.
he portrays the character that you see in the novels. Just
I'll agree with you there.
that
I've never read him.
that kind of man's that dude that just is a dude
reads
first,
anymore?
and it just does everything else. But like, yeah, no, I've absolutely really enjoyed Daniel Craig. I was rather perturbed
do you
when I
see
saw
my
the
shirt?
newest one.
What's on my shirt?
No Time to Die.
There's like little aliens and planets. I still
You'd be
read
that
them.
guy we talked about in episode 1.
He likes Star Trek.
It's like
Let me ask you this
I do
question.
too.
Nostalgia. Who remembers Max Headroom?
That sounds familiar.
Negative. Nope.
This fella right here. He was
Oh my, yes.
the first AI kind of guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember him from Back to the Future.
No, he wasn't Back to the Future.
Well, it was a similar character in Back to the Future.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just so many different things from the 80s. Like what is something? Let's just bring it back. Like what do you think of?
Big Chew.
Big Chew,
I played T-ball Little League. And
Big League Chew.
Big League Chew.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That got me. Always in
Yep.
the dugout. acting
That's
like
still a
I'm-
big thing
That's
with
still-
the
that's
baseball
still a big
kids.
thing.
Well, I brought that up the other day, and Rhett.
He knows a big. He doesn't
I can't
like the
stand
smell
it.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Now the smell is.
Different.
Now I like it. It's just it's a really strong bubblegum smell.
It's different. Yeah.
But he does not like that smell.
Now Bo likes it because him
loves
and
it.
Ashton sit there and gum it all day long.
Miami Vice,
Do you guys remember
Yeah.
Airwolf?
the real Miami Vice.
Yeah.
What?
Airwolf.
Airwolf.
It was the helicopter that came out of the volcano, the base of the volcano.
See, I'm thinking like Knight Rider and stuff like that.
Night Rider. Yeah.
Matlock.
Matlock.
Oh yeah.
Night Court.
I do remember Night Court.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cheers. All those great shows.
Yeah.
I didn't dig Cheers. I still don't like Seinfeld.
Seinfeld's more
Well,
90s.
those are 90s, but I love Seinfeld. I've been watching it on Netflix. How about
What reminds you of home?
Golden Girls.
what reminds me of home? I'll tell you what reminds me of home.
Golden Girls.
Telephones. A lot of kids today don't know what a real telephone wall mount with a long spiral cord is and how you have
That was
to
your
deal with
leash.
All right, dude talk people. This is you can see it right here in our video. This is still a working phone. We still have a house
Does that
phone.
work?
Yeah.
That's great.
What's the number?
No, don't call it
Don't
because
call it.
you'll wake them all up.
Now, I will say we had a wall mount phone with horrendous wallpaper in our kitchen. First of all, it's like
Wallpaper.
spinning wheels
Oh,
and stuff like that. Wallpaper.
Yes.
And
My
I
mom
remember
loved wallpaper.
I remember my first girlfriend talking on the phone, and we talked about WVAQ, the high 5 and 9. Remember that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So there was top 5 songs that they always play at 9 o'clock, top 5 and 9. And I remember sitting on the floor because the cord wouldn't let you go very far unless you had a really long one, which would always get tangled up and spiraled.
Yeah.
But kids just don't know it anymore.
No.
And then downstairs we had a rotary phone. Who here knows what a rotary phone is? I love that stuff.
Yep.
It was back when the commercials used to say, "Please, when you call in, use a touch tone phone."
That is the memory, the pyramid. So it's 2 or 3 in the morning. You're sleeping on the couch, and then Celine Dion, "The Power of Love," comes on, and it's the Michael Bolton. It's the compilation of CDs. Those stick out.
Time Life. Call today.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a commercial
Scamming
that I don't know
Columbia
why
House.
I remember the order of the songs, but it was a CD, and it goes, "From this moment,"
Yes.
or it goes, "Ain't it funny how a melody can bring back memories, take you to another place and time, could even change your state of mind." That's from childhood,
Yeah.
and that's an infomercial commercial.
The infomercials, that's it.
And it was a top 10 CD or whatever, and it's just crazy how that stuff can stay in your head.
Yeah.
In the
But what's
memory.
crazy is the words of that song really is true. A song can bring back a memory like yesterday.
There's a place
Yes.
called the Dairy Bar in Man, West Virginia's a town. it still smells the same way. And every time I'd go home to visit, and you walk into this place, and it's like, oh man, this smells just like junior high. And like, it hasn't changed.
My papa's camp on the river down Benton's Ferry. We stayed there last October just to camp out. We opened that up, and the smell of memories just hit. It's not a bad odor. It's probably not a great odor,
but it is to you.
But it's not a bad odor. It's just
It's
smell
a good
of
one
memories.
for you.
Yeah. And so I told them, like, there's original couches and pillows from when I remember watching Pirates in the World Series on this couch, laying on this pillow.
I didn't realize the Pirates had ever been to the World Series.
A long time ago. Like 91 maybe.
They've won it a few times.
They had Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla at the time.
Andy Van Slyke,
Yeah.
Raphael Belliard, James LaValliere, or Jeff LaValliere, I'm sorry, Doug Drabeck, Sid Bream.
Sid Bream.
That was a good team.
So where I went to middle school at is a weird chain of events. My wife's aunt and uncle bought the building that I went to middle school in and converted it to like a homeschool like center, to where like a couple days a week all these homeschoolers meet up and they do stuff there. And they had me put security cameras in, and the whole time I was working in there, same thing with the smells and the sights, and I was like, wow, this is like hardcore nostalgia. It was a bit much almost.
The smell of a concession stand takes me back for baseball and basketball. I was terrible at basketball. I was really good at defense, but man, I sucked.
No, me too.
But
Mom's got
do
a
you guys
video.
remember the NBA came out with the suckers that had a pennant inside? And you could get, the only two that I never got was the Boston Celtics and the Chicago Bulls. No?
I don't know. I remember that.
I remember the baseball cards that had gum in it.
Yeah, the hard gum.
Yeah.
They're back.
They are back, but I think it's the original gum. I don't think they're back. I think they just didn't sell.
They had a stockpile in a warehouse.
I would actually buy that if I could buy like some original unopened Topps cards.
Okay,
from,
no
like,
joke.
1988.
Listen, the junk trunk on the corner
Good
of
place.
Morgantown Avenue.
You were blowing my mind right
Yeah.
now.
My
We were there
kids-
yesterday.
It's a great place.
Yep.
My kids love that place. You can get baseball cards, basketball, football cards, whatever. Well, my middle son of the three boys, I'm trying not to mention names, he really just thinks about people. He's a server. And so he saw these cards. He had some money of his, and he bought me some baseball cards. They were upper deck, and it was in a blue box, unopened. And when he gave them to me, flooded with memories, because I had that same exact box when I was a young boy. And you even had to cut the seal, the silver seal on it.
Yep.
I opened up the smell. Man, is it crazy how that nostalgia, what we're talking about here. What a great topic.
Yeah.
This is really getting me. Nostalgia. I'm not one of those guys that says, oh, those were the best days of my life. Today is the best day of my life.
Yeah.
I love my wife. I love my children. I love my life. Today's the greatest day of my life. But there were great times. And man, when I opened that upper deck box, I remember you pull that, the one little tongue that goes in, you pull it out, and then it opens up, and then it fans out. I was just like, guys, Bo, what a great buy that you did for me here. Just so much memories. It was really cool.
We had this kid, his name was Dustin Eplin from high school. And his dad was an avid card collector. And it was almost like selling drugs on the playground, but he would come in with all these basketball cards. It was like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson, and all this. The Dream Team. One, by the way,
Dream
the
Team, Cubs,
greatest
McDonald's
team ever. Remember the Larry Bird and Michael Jordan commercials?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Off the rings of Saturn,
Yep.
through around Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was phenomenal.
Those are good times.
What was really cool is I was going through some of my old baseball cards with my kids not too long ago, and I came across the Cincinnati Reds card with Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
And I was so excited. I was like, look. And I ran upstairs and brought the kids up with me. And I was like, there's me standing with Pete Rose. And there's an autograph picture with
Cool.
Pete Rose.
With the greatest hitter of all time.
Yeah.
What's the latest on him? I think there was another vote. Did they shoot him down again?
Still shot down.
Ridiculous.
He needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's
Give him an asterisk if you want to, but put him in the Hall of Fame.
he's the all-time hit leader, not by a little bit, but like
A lot.
2,000 or 3,000 hits. It's just something
I don't
stupid.
know why I would give him an asterisk. He never bet.
I'm just saying, if you're going to do anything, put him in.
He never did it he never gambled on his own games. He never threw a game.
Right.
I mean, I don't get it.
He always went up to bat and hit almost every time that man did.
I watched it. Well, we won't go too far into techniques of baseball, but baseball card. Like, so you talking about the junk trunk? Gabe went and bought a Skybox, the brand. Mm-hmm. He opened up a Jordan, and I love the online values. It's either worth like 35 cents or $7,000. And he's like, I got $7,000. I'm like, okay, no, your college fund will have.
My kids are the same way. They'll look up a bunch of their cards. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I can get 500. We'll sell it. Like, guys, listen, please listen to me. Don't sell the cards. And of course, the wife says, well, when do you ever sell the cards? Never. Maybe.
That's exactly it.
But I mean, but that's a great question though. When do you sell them?
If you get in a hardcore pinch,
it's hardcore pinch, or if you're offered. And I told them, I said, there could be a Doug Drabeck fan out there that would pay $1 million for his card.
What a great name! That
I
brings
love
back
Doug Drabeck.
so much memories.
But he's not worth that much money on his card. But when I tell them, I was like, that card to someone that wants it
means something.
Mm-hmm. That's where the value comes from. You know, you can look up all the Ken Griffey Juniors you want to. But that one card, like number 457, is not worth a dime. But the same card, number 1 or 2, people want that.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't sell your cards. But
I've got a cousin that's got one that's worth like $45,000. Keeps it in a safe and all that. And he's like, that's my rainy day fund.
You need it.
He's like, if we're ever in a bad pinch, he's like, that card's going on eBay.
So years ago when I was a kid, we were on our way out to the Buckwheat Festival, and there was this.
I love that name.
There was a
Buckwheat.
there was a trailer off the side of the road selling stuff, and I remember I don't know, I was 7 years old, something like that. And we pulled over and had a Richard Petty NASCAR hauler, about that big, just little like 1/64th or something like that scale hauler. And I bought it for like $20. Took it out of the box, played with it, but I always kept the box. And my dad and I went to back when they used to do these card shows, these NASCAR like memorabilia shows. They had one up in New Stanton, Pennsylvania, and we drove up. And the guy, and I looked at my dad. I said, "Hey, I got one almost just like that, but it's the year before." And the guy's like, "Wait a minute, you have the year prior to that with the box?" I said, "Uh-huh." He goes, I'll give you $350 for it. And it was like a year later. And I'd had this thing out playing with it and all that. And my dad's like, you'll give him $350 for it? He goes, yeah. So we jumped in the car, drove all the way back home, back to Morgantown. He's like,
where were you?
New Stanton.
Okay, yeah.
And so got back home, had to find the box, had to put the truck and hauler in the box and seal it back or close it back up. And we drove all the way back up. He looked at it, took it out of the box, looked at it. He goes, here you go. And he gave me $350 cash right then.
Isn't that crazy? The value that people puts on things. And what's crazy is...
Best RI
I wouldn't have gave you $1 for it.
Yeah, right?
See, but there's so many things that I don't have that I used to, but the memories of some of this stuff, and a lot of it, as I'm thinking, is tied around baseball. A couple weeks ago, and I'll brag about this, when I struck you out in the gym.
It was luck.
I gave him the old Greg Maddox. It was amazing.
Ryan's taking this a little hard. I can see his face. Like,
I got 2, maybe 3 of your sons to sign it because they were witnesses, and I have it in my work truck.
You're a jerk.
I was going to bring it, but
I'm taking you yard next time. Boy, you watch.
Okay. Can we do a short?
You wouldn't be able
me
to stretch
pitching
me
to
out.
him
Oh,
at the
yeah.
gym?
Yeah, we'll video this thing.
Oh,
because you're going to get a line drive to the face.
He
You're going to get a
missed.
wiffle ball print right on your
He
forehead.
missed so hard that I felt a breeze. But there was a lot of like I remember,
Ryan's not liking this conversation.
well, I mean,
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, buddy. That's
so
the
far
truth
he's
of it.
1-0, so he's only lost once and never won. So,
Dang.
here we go.
I'm all right. I'm okay.
So, but baseball, I remember I was a huge Cubs fan, never won, and then the Braves were
they
on
suck.
TBS all the time,
TBS.
Superstation, and I
WGN.
think it was like '96 when the Braves beat the Indians. Tom Glavine threw a 2-hitter.
Do you mean the Guardians?
Is that what they seriously changed the name
Yeah,
to?
they've changed about everything now.
They're the Indians.
They're the Indians.
And then all the Indians are probably happy that they were called Indians.
I loved it.
No, most of the Native
And then
American
that's when-
tribes were set.
So you mentioned Ken Griffey Jr., which my favorite was David Justice.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about the sweetest
Braves.
swing in
Oh,
baseball. David Justice was your man.
Yep. Dave Justice, Ron Gant, Chipper Jones.
Remember Terry Pendleton?
Oh, yeah.
Third
Remember
baseman.
Terry
Yeah.
Pendleton? Twins?
So
Well, he played for the Braves, then went to the Twins. No. I'll come back to that. I got the name wrong, but Terry Pendleton was incredible.
I was a big King Griffey Jr. fan, and then also like, just slipped my mind. Played for the Baltimore. Cal Ripken.
Jr.
Yeah, Cal Ripken. He's still huge.
Oh, yeah. He holds a record for
He's
most
the Iron Man.
consecutive games.
He
So
is,
does
but,
my
like,
favorite quarterback ever, the Iron Man of football, Brett Favre.
Okay,
I met him as a kid.
Ryan's like,
You wasn't a Favre fan?
I was until he retired and went to another team. And
Who hasn't done that?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but he stained his reputation by leaving the Patriots.
So-
Just retire as a Patriot.
We're going to throw this out there
Retire
for a
as a
second.
Packer.
Do you know why? So
I think he was
When-
like getting fired.
he was. Both of them were.
Favre?
So when
Yeah,
Favre
well,
retired,
retire.
Well, no,
he wasn't. So
Tom
when
Brady.
when Favre retired, he was asked at the end of the season, "Hey, what are you going to do?" He's like, "Well, if you're asking me right now, I have to retire. I'm done." He was 38 years old. So he goes away, and he's like, after he thought about it, he's like, I shouldn't have given that answer that quick. So Mark Murphy, the president of the Packers, flies down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and he goes, I mean, you really can't play anymore. So in order to not have a stink, we'll pay you $36 million to hang it up because you can't play. He goes, what do you mean?
Where do I
Sign me
sign?
up.
What do you mean I can't play? He goes, I'll play right now. And then he came back as a 39, 40, and as a 41-year-old took his team, the Vikings, to the NFC Championship. And if it wasn't for Bountygate, they would have went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that he didn't
played
have
as
any
a
years
kid.
left.
He loved the game,
Yeah.
and he was the
Competitor.
old school gunslinger. I loved Brett Favre.
I'm not a
I
not a
liked him
Tom
too.
Brady fan at all, but I've got to absolutely respect the fact that he did what he did at the Patriots, but then went to Tampa Bay.
And
First
won
year back,
1 year.
Yeah.
took him back to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl.
I agree. I mean, there's no denying the facts of all of it. And Favre was a great quarterback. I'm just saying, if I was a Packers fan, my vision of Favre changes after he doesn't retire as a Packers quarterback. I'm a Ben Roethlisberger guy. I'm a Steelers fan.
Worthless burger. Ugh.
You can call him Roethlisberger all you want, but
he
he's a
hadn't been
Hall
the
of
same
Famer.
after
He
his
is a Hall of
motorcycle
Famer.
And
wreck.
he's a Super Bowl winner. I mean, so
A two-time.
yeah. And now, is he Tom Brady? No. Is he Brett Favre?
No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe. Let's look up stats. Maybe.
Let's look up stats.
Let's just say comparatively, I bet they're on the same level.
Thought the episode was nostalgia.
It
This
is
is-
nostalgia.
This is
Steelers,
brotherly
this is past.
conversation.
But anyway, I'm just saying, retire where you made your career, where you made your name. That's all I'm saying. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just tough to see.
It was hard to see
It's tough
him.
to see. How long was he with the Packers? 18 years.
19 years.
Okay.
If only basketball players did that.
Well, no one does it anymore. That's the problem. Even baseball players. Ken Griffey retired. Cal Ripken retired. You got guys getting traded in the middle of a game. Have you seen this?
No.
Last year, I forget the guy's name, but he's warming up. Let's just say in a Pirates uniform. I forget who it was. He's warming up, taking batting practice as a Pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Gets traded to the team he's playing against and goes to the other dugout and changes and plays for that team.
Mid-game?
Yes, before game. Before game.
Oh,
But-
my goodness.
But what a lifestyle
I was
that
glad
is.
to see
That'd be terrible.
McCutcheon back to the Pirates.
I like it too. He's old school, and the other day he hit a dribbler to like shortstop or something, but he ran it out. He beat the throw, and so last night we actually went to a game, and Bryce Harper, I like him. I respect him as a player. He's a good ball player, but he's got a little bit too much. I'm too good to run to first base. He drilled a line drive to first baseman, and his first baseman's name for the Pirates, I love it. J-I space M-A-N G-Man. G-Man Choi. He's a Japanese player.
great.
Love this guy. He plays hard, plays first base. G-Man. Line drive to him. The dude stops it, but it bounces off of him. And I think if Bryce would have been running it out like you're
coulda got
supposed
it.
to, you're taught from Little League, I think he could have beat him out because it bounced off of him. G-Man had to get up and run after it, catch it on the foul ball line, tag him out, or tag base. But McCutcheon hits a dribbler because he's 36, 37. He's old school, runs it out. So that type of leadership is what we need on the Pirates. We lost 2-1 last night, but it was.
We
it was
also
a good
need in
game.
politics in the world not to go there, but
I was really
need
glad to
leaders.
see
Nostalgia. Ronald Reagan.
I was
Reagan.
really glad to see him back though, and going to retire as a Pirate because he did not want to be traded. He
No,
wanted
he
to
did
stay at Pittsburgh.
Saved by the Bell.
Loved it.
Loved it. Loved it. I remember racing home from school to watch Saved by the Bell.
Yep, I still watch it on like Peacock or whatever
I
it's on.
can't watch it now, dude. I tried.
Really? Oh man, I love it.
I'm so excited.
And then
So
Fresh
scared.
Prince of Bel-Air, the original.
Oh yeah.
Now, see, I like
love Fresh
that.
Prince.
Yeah.
There was a moment in college when I finally watched the Fresh Prince again, and it's when Will's dad
Oh, that's a hard one.
and
Where he's talking to Uncle Phil.
yes, we had
Why
done,
don't he love me, man?
so I'll confess a little bit here. We did some college activities, and we come out and we go from laughing nonstop, just talking nonsense, and then we go into the living room, and it's that scene with "I don't need him." You talk about going from ha 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 to like almost weeping.
I'm telling you,
dude, it
that's
was
a scene.
Yeah, that
watch
was-
it now.
That,
I learned how to shave without him. I learned how to shoot a basketball without him.
Yeah,
that's a tough episode.
I'll be danged if I need him. Yeah, what a great scene.
great. Well,
And Uncle Phil,
great guy.
what a character, almost against Will.
Yeah,
Almost.
For the most part
For
of
the
the
most
series.
part. But then in that scene,
he was a man. He was a dad.
he was a dad
Yeah.
and hugged him, embraced him. This is just another side note, what we do here
all
on
we
Dude
do.
Talk. But someone just read a stat that you need to be hugged at least 4 times a week or something like that to feel loved. Isn't that interesting? The human contact.
Yeah,
I don't know that's accurate.
Well, I just think it was a psychological
Okay, because like
weirdo
way to call him out
nonsense.
on air.
Maybe it's a day or a month or something like that.
I
didn't.
No, I'm not saying your stat that what you're saying wasn't accurate to what you read. I don't know how often I get hugged. I don't think it's 4 times a week.
Maybe
Do
you're
you
not-
feel loved?
I do.
really?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I will say this: the very last time I seen my father alive, that's the very last thing I ever got from him.
A hug.
Yeah.
What a great moment. What a great moment.
Not to.
I'll tell you one thing that my dad will never wonder if taking his last breath is if he's loved.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one thing that I'll never wonder is if I'm loved by my children and my wife. How do we get here?
Okay. So
Nostalgia.
So
Nostalgia. Well, that's nostalgic.
Well,
Larry.
so
It
wait
is
a minute.
nostalgic.
I've gone back and thought about it. Ayrton hugs me like
There
you go.
a crap ton of times during
There you
the day.
go.
So
See,
yeah,
that's why
that
you
is
know
an
you're
accurate.
So would
stat.
you apologize
Yes.
now?
Sorry, Ryan. I am terribly sorry.
I don't think you meant it.
I don't believe a word of it.
Perry Stone.
We're speaking to Dad.
16 Candles.
Never.
Never liked it.
watched it.
What?
Never liked it.
No. She was in Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald.
She was in Stephen King's The Stand, and that was
That
the
was
first
fantastic.
time. Yes,
I
it
don't know if I
was.
ever saw that.
That-
The Stand?
dude. It's like it was a week-long miniseries.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
okay.
16 hours.
See,
It's
like when I think of
phenomenal.
her, I always thought of the Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, All the Right Moves,
Yeah.
So
Tom Cruise. Never saw it?
So I bought The Stand, the
I'm watching
novel.
old. I'm not
Don't
that
watch the
old.
movie.
Going
Right,
back to books.
I bought the novel right before COVID,
Nerd.
and I'm there sitting there reading The Stand while COVID is starting to break out. I was like, yeah, this might be the wrong time to read this book.
So I always describe that as it's the zombie movie without zombies, because it's the plague at the end of the world, and you have to take a stand between God
Good
and
and
Satan.
evil, yeah.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. The movie
I mean, it's
was
not
awesome.
biblical. There's biblical references, but it's not biblical at all. But
Did you
it-
say you didn't like six?
I didn't care for
16
16 Candles.
Gary Sinise was awesome in that movie.
Gary Sinise was awesome. And 16 Candles?
No, and
I was gonna say, where was he at?
Lieutenant Dan.
That's a movie from the past.
What's the
Nostalgic.
dude's name from 16 Candles?
I don't know.
The
I've
blonde
seen it
hair
maybe
boy.
once if I've ever seen it.
Every time I think of those 80s
I watched Rambo.
rom-coms, I hear the Rick Wald song.
Never gonna give
Yes.
you up.
Oh, yeah.
Never gonna let you down.
I love movies. I'm a movie guy. I don't read.
What's your favorite?
What's my favorite movie ever? Man, that's a tough one.
Wolf of...
No,
It's easy for me.
Never saw that one.
Steve McQueen's Lamar.
I've,
Stephen Queen.
that might be my
Steve
father-in-law's favorite because does he have a line in the whole movie?
A few. You go about, I think I timed it out. You go 35 or 45 minutes before the actual first dialogue takes place in the movie.
I'm not sure if I don't know. I've
I'm
got
not
a lot of
car
favorite
guy.
movies.
I'm not a car movie man.
But I'll tell you what, if there's a movie that I could say just top of mind, if I'm flipping channels, which I don't anymore because I've got Apple TV, but if I was flipping channels and it was on and there was only 3 minutes left or the whole movie, National Treasure, I can't not watch
It's
it.
a good movie.
I love that movie.
You know what else is really
My
good?
kids would say that too. That's how much I like that movie.
Mine's either Jurassic Park, the original, or Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
You know what else is really good is The Last Crusade.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Josh loves Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
They were good movies.
I don't
got
care
Sean
what you say, but Last Crusade was awesome because of Sean Connery.
Sean
Do you
Connery's
see
in
my
it.
point though?
Sean Connery.
Speaking of Sean Connery, we mentioned this earlier when we were talking about James Bond. Do you guys remember the Highlander TV series?
Yeah.
With the Queen, Princess of the Universe theme.
Yeah.
I've went back and watched it. It does not age well. It's but I loved that show. That was so my dad, he was more of a quality over quantity because of his work. So if I was at school, he was home, and if we came home from school, that's when he went to work. Speaking of nostalgia, when I played baseball, he didn't. Anytime he could be there, he was. I remember him walking across. So the hospital was across from the Little League field, and just looking out over the fence, and there's Dad on his break, and that. Oh, don't cry. That means a lot. But in the summers when we were home with him during the day, Highlander would come on, and we would. I mean, it was just all me and my three brothers. We'd sit down and we'd watch that with Dad together.
Yeah.
That
That's
hearing
the
that
importance
song
of-
means a lot.
That's the importance of the father-son relationship. I remember my dad when I was younger. He'd be driving truck 18 hours a day, and then he'd get home, and I would say, "Hey, can we go pass?" I don't think I remember him saying no. We'd always pass baseball in the front yard. He'd still be in his navy blue work pants and his light blue trucking shirt with his name and patch on it, and his hat, still in uniform from work, tossing baseball with me.
Yeah, so my dad had nostalgia. We'll talk about dads. This is a completely different conversation, but he had such a dry, different sense of humor. He reminds me of our guest last week who was really wordy. He'll know what that means. You just once you get to know him, you kind of
Josh 2.0.
You kind of JJ. You kind of understand. But a joke off the cuff. I remember. So he was a nurse's assistant, and this. So we go upstairs in the hospital. He worked on the second floor, and do you guys remember the glass that had like the metal strip, metal wires that went through?
Oh
it?
yeah.
Like inside of yeah.
The movie Cable Guy had just come out, and he's
Hated
super
that
dry.
movie.
Loved it. He's super dry, super very. To have a hick accent or a southern accent, you talked very proper. I used to say "gots" all the time. He hates stuff like that. But he's sitting there working, and I kind of sneak up, and I do the old Billy where I pull my shirt up and put my chest on the glass. Oh, Daddy! And he looked up, and there's all these patients and nurses around, and they're dying, and he just ignored me completely. Stuff like that sticks out, but I could say something and we're two totally different senses of humor, and him just laughing in those brief moments you have, and it's like that stuff sticks out a lot.
So you talk about TV shows that are nostalgia.
Monday Night Raw.
No.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw.
My dad and I used
Big
to watch.
Valboski.
My dad and I used to watch Chips
Valvitas.
all the time.
Yeah.
We're,
30.
We're at about 30.
We're
right
at 30.
now.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry that he's so
Yeah,
rude.
I know, right? Like,
I was answering a
I
question.
He wants to talk about Perry Stone.
That. Yeah. Walk off.
Mic drop. Sorry, TV show nostalgia.
no, don't worry about it.
No,
We're
we
good.
want to
No,
hear.
we
it.
want
we're
to
good.
hear our viewers.
One guy
67
out of four
view,
of us
it's-
was rude. You just talk. Come
Not
on.
me. Don't point at me. He did.
I
it.
didn't. I didn't point at you.
okay.
You're just feeling.
I
it.
was trying to give him sign language and it wasn't working.
Jared.
Hey, Ryan.
E.T. How about the movie?
Hated E.T.
We're on we're on camera 3
Finish
right
your
now.
thought.
That's on
Finish
you.
your thought.
So, the nostalgic TV shows. My dad and I used to watch Chips when he get home from work.
Great show.
Chips, yeah.
And sit and watch it. And then obviously Baywatch was in there too. So
Baywatch.
I think this was on USA Network. Remember?
Never hassle the Hoff.
Major Pain.
Major Pain.
Major Dad.
Major Pain
yes.
was
Major Pain was
hysterical.
great, but Major
I
Dad
love
was
Major
good.
Pain.
Major Pain was awesome.
We went back and Haley finally watched Wayne's World.
Killing is my business,
And
and business is good.
Yes, that was great. Haley finally watched Wayne's World for the first time.
Oh my gosh. Come on, Haley.
And she's like, I get all these other movie references to that movie now. I hadn't seen it in years, and I'm like, this is
How has
so-
she not watched that?
She has an adult sense of humor instead of us.
She's too grown up.
5-year-old sense of humor.
So
What I want to know is why don't you like E.T.?
E.T. kind of scared me. So I was just
Oh,
young
my
enough.
wait a minute. What? No,
goodness.
E.T.
The
scared you.
friendliest alien in the world.
He was gross looking. He looked like a slug. Slugs are weird.
But you watched Jurassic Park.
So I didn't like Jurassic Park when it first came out.
What?
It came
That was
out,
the first movie I ever seen in the movie theaters was Jurassic Park.
So that
Yeah.
came out in '93. So I was 10.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that was great.
My mom hated that because as soon as we got out of the theaters, it was cowabunga for cowabunga, dude.
So I got my
But
kids
Jurassic
watching
Park, I couldn't
the old
stand it.
Turtles.
Nice.
Until I found we were cleaning up for getting ready to move to college. I'm like, let's take some movies, and we went through the box of VHSs, and Jurassic Park was on.
Favorite scene was where the T-Rex eats
For
the
those of you who
log.
don't know
Ah,
what VHS is a tape
Yeah.
that you have to put
Yeah.
into a VCR.
I still have them in my attic. I can't
And-
get rid of them.
me and my cousin Avery were cleaning up, and we're like, oh, Jurassic Park. I was not done. And we watched it again. It became my favorite movie of all time.
Jurassic
Yeah.
Park.
Best scene was where the T-Rex eats the guy and it's sitting on a toilet.
Yeah.
Yes, the lawyer.
One of my favorite
Yeah.
Goodbye,
quotes
lawyer.
ever is from that movie.
And
It's when
must be a good one.
Malcolm, he's like, what you call discovery, I call rape of the natural of the world. Your scientists are so preoccupied with whether or not they can do something, they don't stop to think whether or not
They
they should.
should. Yeah.
And apply that to today.
To today, yeah.
Everything in
So
our
going
life.
from Jurassic Park, what's the dude's name? Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Let's take it back to the 80s nostalgia.
The Fly.
The Fly.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
Didn't
Dude,
like it.
watch it.
That was creepy when I was a kid.
Watch The Fly.
Isn't that one of those movies?
Even the second one is great.
Yeah.
The best Jeff Goldblum movie has to be Independence Day.
No, it's,
Yeah, it's a good
it's The Big Chill or Jurassic Park.
No, The Fly. Watch The Fly
Independence Day.
and The Fly. That's what I'm saying.
So Independence Day.
You will change your view on Jeff Goldblum. It was such a great movie.
It was a good performance.
See, but
Yeah.
doesn't he have like these little pockets of like? There's certain things that just gross me out.
He turns
Doesn't he
into a
have, like,
fly
these
by the
holes in
end.
his skin.
So
or
he
some
starts as a
nonsense?
maggot, and I'm just kidding.
Nah, I can't do that.
No, listen, watch it. It's a good movie. And the Fly too is his son that he has with the woman from
Abyss. I can't think of her name, but she
Yeah, but
played in
she's
Abyss
also the
too.
wife from Beetlejuice.
Yes.
What's her name?
I hated that movie too.
What?
Yeah, I hated
Beetlejuice.
All right,
Beetlejuice.
close this up.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
They're doing a part 2. Do you guys remember when the
Yay.
Michael Keaton as Batman came out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was
Michael
good.
Keaton.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's make you sad. Have you seen Michael Keaton in My Life?
No.
If you want to cry, you'll cry as a man.
What was the
for
movie?
Real.
What was the movie that got you as a kid?
I
made you
cried and
cry?
gone in 60 seconds.
Oh God.
Let's go.
When they wrecked the Mustang?
Yeah, when they wrecked
My
Eleanor.
Life. I bawled my eyes out in My Life.
As a kid or
I was-
now?
Yeah, I was young. I mean, that movie's older.
My girl.
My girl.
My girl.
Yeah.
Thomas J can't see without his glasses. Dude.
Aw.
I remember I had to walk. We liked the movie, and then when that part would come up, I'm like, I'm going to go walk outside for a second because I'm not crying in front of anybody.
What movie made you cry as an adult?
Click,
What?
click.
Adam Sandler.
Oh
Adam
yeah,
Sandler.
at the end.
And Rain
When
Over
he
Me.
dies.
Have you guys seen
Rain
Rain,
Over
Over Me?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rain Over Me and stuff.
That was a tough movie
That's
to
when
watch.
they're
Click.
in 9.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting choice because
When
it's
he-
comedy, but at the end when he's realizing,
When his dad's trying to tell the joke, he's like, just listen, it's
Yes.
a stupid joke. It's
Yeah.
like dad's
I
like,
don't have time for this.
what's that dad?
This is
stuff?
gonna sound weird, but just about every Pixar movie at the beginning,
The Notebook.
Oh yeah.
When I realized that the old couple was the young couple, I even said out loud because I was watching with my family. I was like, "That's them." I'm like 19, 20 years old.
I've never seen the movie to beginning to end, but I saw enough to realize when they jab, I forget who they jab in the leg with the needle, and
In The Notebook?
isn't
I
it?
don't remember that.
At the end, I think the wife is when she's fading out. Somebody gets
No.
a needle.
No.
And that's a
You're
different
wrong.
You're not
whatever.
thinking, you're not thinking of Happy Gilmore, are you?
Great movie.
Jabs him in the leg.
I don't
thought
remember
somebody
that in
got
the Notebook.
stabbed in the leg with a needle, and because the wife she's lost her memory, and the guy from Maverick, which was a great movie, Mel Gibson, and
That's him.
yeah,
But that,
he
that
starts
wasn't-
crying. He starts like he can't handle her fading out.
Yeah, that wasn't The Notebook.
Well, that was another sad one.
It's probably a Lifetime movie.
Probably.
My mom loved Life. I couldn't stand it because it's all
The
about
man-hating channel.
the man hating, all the abuse and the no. I couldn't. Why do you want to watch this?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, this has been a great episode.
there we go.
It really has. That was a fun topic. Nostalgia and all
Yeah.
this stuff.
We could do probably 10 episodes on this. Just
Oh, we could have kept going.
in fact, maybe next time we'll hit the 90s.
Game Boy. I just saw a picture of it. We could go on forever.
We'll hit the 90s next time.
Which Super Mario Kart?
I didn't like Super Mario.
Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube.
No, the original SNES one.
I mean, I loved them all, but the Double Dash was the best.
Yeah.
Mario 1, regular Nintendo, and Mario 3, where he was flying squirrel. Those are my two favorites.
Did you? Do you ever?
Raccoon.
I remember my mom
That's what I
playing Mario, and every time Mario would jump, that controller.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to move the controller.
Every time.
Transylvania with the Nintendo. You remember that?
Simon's Quest,
Yeah.
Castlevania.
Zelda?
the DuckTales game.
Castlevania.
Castlevania.
That's
is awesome.
Castlevania, Simon's Quest.
Yep.
That's what it was. Tecmo Super Bowl.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, Bo Jackson's baseball.
Christian Okoye.
Yes, Bo Jackson's baseball.
No.
I
Oh,
when
Bo
I
Jackson's
played
baseball.
catcher in B League baseball, I tried to like use all of the catcher symbols that they used in Bo Jackson's baseball.
Nice. Yeah, Christian Okoye on Tecmo Super Bowl was the guy.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
So much
Sorry.
stuff we can talk about.
You got to close this out.
Oh, absolutely.
He's been trying.
I try my best all the time, but it is what it is.
Josh always interrupts.
I know. If you like what you heard today,
No.
got any comments, make sure you like and subscribe below. Make sure you visit our website at mkdudtalk.com. That way you can catch up with all of our latest shenanigans and podcasts. If you'd like to shoot us an email, our email is mkdudtalk@gmail.com. So for the yes man Jared, for the coach Ryan, our host Josh, and the always absent Andy, I am Nick.
Triple A, it's where we're going to start calling them.
AAA.
Always absent Andy. This has been Mountaineer Kingdom Dude
Teddy
Talk.
Ruxpin. Teddy
Real
Ruxpin.
man,
Ruxpin
manly
was awesome.
talk. I'm still trying to do my end.
Sorry, that was fun.